Snake invited me this morning to share her story, and so here it goes. I was on walkabout and came across Snake, and she invited me to pause and bear witness of her story. And feeling very honored in that invitation, I did so. And she began showing me how she chose to come into this form. And as she came into the form of Snake, she was inside a shell. And in this shell was everything that she required to be nourished and to grow. And the shell protected her from the outside world. And with all the nourishment that she required inside the shell, she grew. And she grew. And the only world that she knew up to that point was inside the shell. And one day she grew to the point where she could no longer be inside the shell. And as scary as it was for her, she knew that if she stayed in the shell, she would die. And so she wriggled and she pressed and she pushed on the inside of the shell, and the shell gave way. And as the shell gave way, she saw this big, bright, big world outside of the shell. And she realized that this was her new shell. And she moved from the nest, and she found her own place in the world. A place where she felt safe and protected, where she had nourishment, where she had rest when she needed it. And she grew, and she grew. And one day she became uncomfortable in her skin. It felt tight. It felt like it was choking her whole body. A lot in the way that she felt when she got too big for the shell. And without anyone showing her, she knew what she needed to do. She had a choice, again, to stay in that skin that had become too small to contain her and die in it, or to shed it, to let it go, to let it be an old version of who she is, so that she could become a new one. And she knew that in order to continue to grow, continue to flourish, continue to thrive, she had to keep moving. She knew that if she sat still, she would stay encased in that skin and it would choke her and she would die. And so she kept moving. She kept moving forward. And as she moved forward, the old skin that could no longer contain her began to come off and be left behind. And as she came out of that old skin and she let loose that last piece, she sighed and she said, "I am new again." And she rested. And she let herself really pause in that moment of newness and take in the new being that she was. And she showed me this, and she said, humans are the same as snakes. They're born into a little space that feels very safe, and they receive the nourishment required to grow. And then the container becomes too small, and they move out into a bigger container, and they continue to grow. And the only way we grow and continue to grow is by moving forward as we shed the old. And she showed me not just the value, but the delight in pausing in that moment of rebirth, of coming into that new version, of pausing and honoring the old version that brought me here to this moment, as well as the choice to keep going and keep growing and keep moving into all of the new me's that are waiting to be born. And so, at her request, early this morning, I share this story with you in the hopes that it encourages you to keep moving, keep wriggling, keep seeing everything in this moment as nurturing and nourishing and supporting you as you grow, and celebrate the past versions that you've let go, and celebrate the versions to come that are waiting for you. And may you experience that magic in new ways. In Lakesh Halaken, I am you, and you are me, and we are one.